Lakers.
I love the music.
To Greensboro.
Now stop.
No, we got H-Town's real hip hop. All new 93.7 The Beat.
It's the all new 93.7 The Beat, H-Town's Red Hip Hop and home of the Breakfast Club. I have my most quoted rapper in captions on my Instagrams across from you. Next to Nipsey.
See, I keep that in mind too sometimes when I'm writing too, because so many people tell me, yo, man, we need some new you gotta put out some new music because we need some more captions.
I need some more captions, yeah.
And it's kind of like, you know, you gotta take every compliment and it's as a compliment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes like people be like, yo, you know, kind of make you a caption rapper, but at the same time, it's also socially engaging. If you look at it on a positive side, it's like, you know, people, what you saying is enough that people wanted to represent them in their captions and in their pictures. So
yeah,
it's all good, man. You know, I love that people are still, you know, checking for what you say just to make it work for them.
Punchlines. I just posted something today using the first thing you say on time. You're like, the most valuable thing is time. 'Cause you I used that today. We jumped into it, but Fabolous is here, y'all.
Yeah.
What's happening?
What's up, H-Town? What's up?
No, for real, but you are probably my most quoted rapper. Next to Nipsey and Drake. Y'all are top. Y'all are in there.
Yeah,
three.
That's see, I think that's dope. I think, you know, people, like I just said, like people are socially engaging with what you're saying, you know what I'm saying? So they taking it from not just hearing it, but also projecting it from their point of view too, like, you know what I'm saying? And captions, that's really what it is. When you post a picture, you like, dang, what could I say to express myself or express this picture? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's also because younger rappers, like, that haven't been in the game long enough, like punchlines aren't really a thing anymore.
I think punchlines for them is just not. It's not. You know
what
I mean? It's more like their thing is more like just a vibe.
Exactly.
Majority of them is not about what they're saying or their lyrical content. It's more about them just catching a vibe. So in there, I think sometimes they're not saying everything they're saying is on the surface. You know what I'm saying? There's no like deeper meaning sometime behind it, or if it is, it's their meaning. But it's like what they're saying is pretty, you know, pretty straightforward. So
yeah, it's not a lot of like metaphors and anything like that. It's just like, I'm a bad bitch. I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
Like that's
hit me up. I'm gonna hit you up. She snaked me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just really pretty much to the right to the T. But I think, you know, music too, it changes, and I think there's different styles. Even in, you know, back in the days, there was punchline rappers, and then there was guys who, you know, did whatever they did, melody rap, whatever you want to call it. Like every era has had different types of rap. You know what I mean? So I think this era, we have, you know, we have emo rap where guys are very emotional, and you know what I mean. She broke my heart, and you know what I mean. Then we have, you know, a lot of melody. I think in hip hop today, which is grew over time too, which is not a bad thing because it always was there. It's just I feel like now it's one of the forefronts of rap, you know what I'm saying? But melody is something that is connected through music, through people, period. Like when you hear a good beat or you hear a good hook or you hear some melody that's catchy, you know, it makes you enjoy the song more. So I never would say that it's bad for hip-hop. Yeah. And then there's punchline rap and hip metaphors, and there's people who are even deeper than that it, you know what I'm saying, you don't even understand exactly what they're saying. So it's all types of hip-hop, and I think, you know, for each his own, you know what I mean, if whatever you like is still a self-expression.
We'll get back into that, because just like the new era of rap that's introduced into us now. Yeah. But like I've been a fan of Fab. Number one, when LC told me you were coming, I was like, yes. Yeah. Like, yes. Because Fabolous has been in my top 5 forever. Since way back in the day. You don't know how long I go back as a Fabolous fan. My first MySpace song, when you could put music on it, was Gangsta. It's GANGST. That was my first MySpace song. MySpace like, that's how long we go back, dog.
And there's people now that's gonna be listening to this, they don't even know about the MySpace.
I know they're gonna Google it or YouTube it. Like, what the hell is this?
They missed that whole wave. Like, and I think that wave set up to what we even doing now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's set up. It was the first thing where you had pictures and comments and captions for pictures. And I think it's, you know, kind of navigated. Facebook was around too, but I think it helped Facebook grow, because at first Facebook was really just like a college thing in that time. Like, I didn't even have Facebook.
Did you have MySpace?
I had MySpace.
Okay.
So like it MySpace set up the platform for like what we are doing on like Facebook and Instagram
and
Snapchat and all that. Set that up.
You're the most. I think everyone's the most active on Instagram because it's just visual. Like you can see what you're talking about.
Yep.
Rather than Twitter, but on your Instagram, going back to like the melodic emo rap, you shared when JuiceWRLD passed away that was your son's favorite rapper.
Yeah.
Like, what was that conversation with you as a dad? Like, hey,
he was hurt, man. I was, I checked in with him because I know, he liked it and he was hurt and he was on the phone with me and his mom. We were out of town and he was home, so we, definitely wanted to check in on him and make sure he was good. I used to drive him to school, and like he was one of the first people to be like, yo, you need to check out this JuiceWRLD album. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, all right, you know what I mean? Because I try to just interact with him. We one of the first generations where your parents and your kids could vibe off the same music, you know what I'm saying? So when he even brings something to me, either it's young guys or people that I haven't heard of, I check them out just to, engage with him as well, too. So I listened to the JuiceWRLD and them. I was like, oh, okay. But I was like, he's singing about stuff like, I don't know if you, like, you even experienced this stuff. Yes, yeah, you know what I mean? Like heartbreak and my son is 11. So I'm like, yo, what you know what I mean? But he was like, no, he got a good vibe. I like his law. And then I started checking into JuiceWRLD more, and I saw, like, how dope of a freestyler he was. Like, when he would come to the radio, and that was like totally separate from what you heard on like his albums and stuff like that. So I was like, it opened me up to him a little bit more, and just to that type of rapper, because they could be more than what you even, or more than they even show, I guess, with him. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw the freestyles and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, he is kind of dope. You know what I'm saying? So I told my son, he's like, yeah, he can freestyle too and stuff like that. I was like, oh, but you ain't tell me that. You was just telling me about the album. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah. I like both sides of him. But I was like, oh, all right. But he, just having that conversation with him and, just keeping him, because of course too, he's losing like an artist for his generation. Yeah. He's young. He's like, he's not even really dealt with that kind of thing. I guess he was a fan of him, and he was also a fan of XXX.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Just losing like artists that you like really like in the last year or so, you know what I mean? So I was just talking to him, seeing how he felt, and you know what I mean? He was a little down and depressed about it, and he listened to his music and stuff like that. But I thought it was, a learning experience for me too, because this is the first time I think that's have to happen through generations of a dad and his son, and now we listen to the same music and know the same artists, and you lose an artist, and you know what I mean? We lost Biggie or Pac or anything like that. Like, those weren't connected to our parents. It was just like our loss, you know what I mean? So it was interesting, you know what I mean? But he's doing good. He's in a good space right now.
Is JuiceWRLD one of the people he like try to get you to collab with?
I think he did mention that before. He always, like, whoever he's listening to at the time, he'd be like, yeah, Dad, you need to do a song with Trippie Redd. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll be like, oh, hey. Word?
I know, like, word.
So he'd be like, yo, word? And then you know what I mean? And I actually seen Trippie in Miami recently. I was just like, yo, man, we need to get something done and do something. Like, you know what I mean? Because even besides, us on the artistic side, I think, even for my son, that would be a cool thing. He'd be like, he felt like he manifests that, like, you know what I mean? I told Dad to do a joint with Trippie.
Like, give me that 10%, Dad.
Yeah. I put that together. He go to school and be like, I told my dad. Like, you know what I mean? Give me some cool dad points. Like,
give me that cosign fee.
Word.
Is there anyone on the, like, new wave? You mentioned Trippie. We're talking about JuiceWRLD. Like, anyone on that, like, festival era rapper side that really meshes, like, rock and hip hop that you, like, mess with?
Well, before X-Pass, my son was also sharing like music with him, and I saw like how diverse his music was too. Like, he was a hip hop artist, but also, seemed like he dabbled in rock and everything else. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like, it's not anybody like personally that but I like, I come across things and, hear it, and like I said, like, I take it in because my son is also listening to this music. So sometimes it's just me checking it out to be like, let me see what the hell my son is listening to, like
what they talking about, what
so
they telling him,
It'd be a dad moment, but it's also, sometimes you stumble across something and like it, I mean? That's how I was with Juice. Like, I was really put on by him, but then I was listening to it like, oh, this kid is all right, you know what I mean? So within that in the young era, I really just will check anybody out, really just see if I like it, see if it's my cup of tea or not.
Something you can groove to.
Yeah.
So we started off getting too hip hop, boom bap rap, but he's here. Obviously, Summertime Shootout 3.
Yes.
Dropped Black Friday.
Yep.
It's been on repeat. I've told everyone at Def Jam that the Chris Brown Tiana record that needs to be a single. That needs to be one coming up.
I was having a problem. They were just asking me what was next, and I was like, so it's so well rounded with like what people like. Like even if I'm just looking on social media, like if I scroll through my mentions, it's like literally every song be like, you know what I mean? It's different. So I can't like, you know, some albums drop and everybody's listening to the same song, so you be like, all right, yeah, this one got to be next. But everything is like, you know what I mean? It might be out of the 13 or so that's left, it's, you know, people are playing 10 records, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to like gauge, but like, of course, the Chris Brown record, that was one of my favorites off of there. And I told him about the joint with JuiceWRLD, My Mind, and the one with Roddy Ricch, Time. So a lot of those, but it's just so many, like so many people, like, you know, and even if it's just like not like a single, just paying attention to what, like I see Cold Summer a lot, you know, even though that was the intro, I see a lot of people like socially posting that and, you know, riding to it and stuff like that too. So you got to pay attention to that as well.
What about, obviously, like Bombs, you have a video for it. And I know that's like that's not the intro, but it should be an intro. It's like a second intro.
It's like, because the first intro was just to get you in the mood, and then Bombs was like, all right, now I'm back.
Talk about shit,
you know what I mean? So, and Bombs was something, I felt like I tapped into a couple different fabs on this project. Like Bombs was like mixtape fab, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, My Mind, or the joint with Chris Brown, Us vs. World, was like radio fab, you know what I'm saying? And I even tried a different fab with like maybe Choosy, where Choosy was a different type of record for me. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to do that as well. But also just keeping in the different pocket. Like I was just telling them too, like music today is being digested like digitally. So it's more like your music, how you listen to albums is almost like playlists now. Even when you listen to an album, you take your 2 or 3 that you like and pull it over here and make your own playlist out of that, and that's what you listen to. So I kept that in mind when I was making Shootout 3, like, you know, I want people to digest this and really listen to it like it's a whole little playlist, not even just like a fab album. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's
with the 3? Like, obviously you said this was the last one.
Yeah.
And Soul Tape is 3. Like, what's with 3?
I don't know.
Why
I think
3?
somewhere back in the days, like, I felt like trilogies were the like the
wave, like
the wave, and how you made a series complete. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it started from The Godfather or like, I don't know what it was, but I just always felt like, and I felt like after it go too far, like sometimes you'd be like, all right, come on now, Saw 7, we done seen this, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Fast and Furious is probably at like 10 or something already, even though they keep like,
that's the only franchise.
Yeah, that's the only one that keeps like, and they bring new elements in. They got like, you know what I mean? The cast has changed over years, but like I feel like, you know, you don't want to go too far. You give somebody, and then you start something new. You know what I'm saying? I did with the Soul Tapes, I did 3. With There's No Competition mixtape series, I did 3, and now Summertime Shootout, I want to do 3 and move to something different so that you don't get stuck on, you know what I mean? 'Cause sometimes people just stick you in a box and they only want to hear you one way. You might evolve, you might grow, you might want to do something else. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's like an actor. You see them as that. Every time you see them, you keep seeing them and saying, yo, you like, that was just one role for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Chadwick Boseman yourself.
And certain actors step away from roles like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the guy who plays Spider-Man, like he stepped away from it because he didn't want to, every time you see him, you Tobey Maguire, you just look at him and say, yo, you Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm Toby, but I'm really Toby.
But you Spider-Man, dog. Do the hands.
Nah,
do
dog, you Spider-Man.
But you Spider-Man, dog.
Yeah. Everybody running up to you all day. You like, I'm sitting down
like,
eating.
Why,
and
dog?
like,
do the hands.
On, all right, I ain't doing this Spider-Man shit no more. It's over. You know?
I think you said on the Young OG project, you couldn't get the Doing It Well sample cleared. Was it that one? And you put it on Summertime Shootout too?
Yep.
Okay.
There's a funny story behind that sample. It's really Grace Jones.
It's not even LL's.
No, it's from an old song. LL sampled it.
Okay.
LL sampled it and got clearance for it, but it was something in their
they didn't want it.
Agreement. No, that they didn't live up to.
Oh,
she's not cleared it ever again, probably.
Yeah.
So I was one of the people that unfortunately
did not get the clearance.
But
it was a fire song.
It was a great record, man.
I had to keep going to Dat Piff, to listen to it.
Actually, like when we put it out, like radio stations was picking it up and playing it just off of the, off the strength that they was feeling it. And then, once the clearance thing came about, everybody just had to pull it and what's the name. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate, but I guess that's how it is. I think clearance, I think they have to figure that out too. Between artists, like we're all artists too, and it's all art. And at the same time, like I saw J. Cole speak on it. Like sometimes it's even just keeping the music moving forward. You know what I'm saying? That song is from generations already. Let's say it's from Grace Jones' generation, then it was from LL generation. Now Fab bringing it in the 2000s. So it actually just keeps the music flowing into, you know what I mean? Like into the next generation. So sometimes I do think artists should have a say in the music, but I don't know if it should be like a complete denial.
Should be like a statute of limitations or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix it, but I think it's still like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's a little catchy.
Go to trial. Well, you've had problems clearing stuff in the past, and you can see how some people are very touchy about their music. But this going around, Tory had you on his album sampling you. Yep. Were you like, yo, this better be right, dog, or else we ain't.
No, I respect Tory's, artistry. Like Tory's a great artist. You know what I'm saying? Like I think even down to what he does and what he can do, I don't think he's even praised for it enough. Like I think he's really a well-rounded artist. So when he told me he wanted to sample it, I was like, cool. You know what I mean? He explained to me the project. He was like, yo, it's gonna be like a 2000s vibe. Like, that's what I was going for. And I was like, all right, cool. So I jumped on there, and he was like, even down to like, I want you to go back and do Fabolous. Like he said, I want you to even literally
you gotta do it, though. You gotta re-record it.
You serious? He's like, yeah, I definitely want that in there. So I was like, I put that in there too for him. And I think his project was cool, and I think it's, they always talk about the 90s. The 90s was definitely an era that I grew up in, a golden era of hip-hop, but I think the 2000s was a special era, too, because we got a lot of great music, a lot of great artists, a lot of vibes that I think infused, like, with hip-hop and R&B in that era as well, and it kind of set the precedent to probably what's a lot of the melody rap and, the rappers who rap and sing now, you know what I mean, where, that came about in like a little bit in 2007, 8, 9, where Drake's and the Kanye's and the auto-tune thing hit big, like,
T-Pain's and all,
like, a lot of that merger had came in there. So I think, the 2000s kind of set a tempo to where we at kind of now. And, so even with me, like, sampling me, I'm cool with it, because I even understand it from an artist standpoint. Sometimes it's, you really like, that was one of your favorite joints and you want to do it over, or you want to, you know what I mean? I do think it should be some approval or something, but it shouldn't be like people standing on it saying like, oh, nobody can touch my music ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like hindering the music at the same time. Like, you stopping music from progressing and living through generations. Like, you should want your music. You're going to still get paid for it. You should want your music to spread out, and you know what I mean?
I mean, you got to keep SoundCloud in business, too, and YouTube. And all that.
All right, just go SoundCloud.
Like, it's going to get done, though, whether you say yes or not.
It's a way.
Yeah, you mentioned that, like, obviously Tory's project focused on, like, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And Fab's still around, but the early 2000s really when you, like, blew. Yeah. Have you ever been approached to do the Millennium Tour? Was that ever a thing? Would you do it? Because I know you've collaborated with Bow Wow and B2K in the past, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think also though sometimes the tier of the fanship is different.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Bow Wow and Omarion, like, we were out at the same time, but I think their fans were
got different fans,
like a different course. So
yeah.
It's funny. I talked to Ashanti recently, and she was she got offered to do it too, and she was speaking to me about it, and she, she's the same thing. Like, she came in the like early 2000s too, but I don't know if I think her base could be a little bit closer to theirs. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I don't know if it lines up but it wouldn't be something that I would look like it's not something I could do. You know what I'm saying? It's just more about how it's done, and who else is on the tour as well. Like, you know what I mean? But I think the show is dope. I think it did well, the past one it just did. I think overall, like people, like I said, the 2000s, people love the music from that time.
Yeah.
So it's, it's time for it to be celebrated kind of like the same way that we celebrate the 90s as well.
I'm not going to lie. I went to the first show at Madison Square Garden for the Millennium Tour last year, or this year, and I was getting my life to B2Ks and Pretty Ricky, so I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
like, that was my era,
I saw a lot of people. I seen artists go to it and have a good time. I seen Cash Dog go up there and like, yo, I'm going to see B2K.
Yeah.
I'm going to see, you know what I mean? Like, people, it was a moment in time. It was a music that you was feeling when you was growing up. So I definitely think, like, it has a connection. Like, you know what I mean? It's something that when I did, like, a show where for my birthday one time, like, at the party, and just went through a vibe of, like, 90s R&B and, you know what I mean? And, like, I just seen how the crowd even connected with it, you know what I'm saying? Or when I did the party tour with Chris, we would do, like, a set in between me and Chris where people would come out. And I just seen how, a lot of the joints from those 2000s, people was so receptive of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was even down to the Bad Boy tour, all those things, like, those were moments in time in music. So when you bring them back, it takes people back to those places too. Even if you grown now, you 30, you hear some music that you was loving when you was 16 or 18, and it takes you back to that moment, even for one night. You know what I mean? And it's a good experience.
Yeah, I think that was the last era of music being like before we went digital. Like, you have to really experience, like, being at the show, being at the party, seeing them
digital
dance.
changed how you digest music too. You know what I mean? Like, everything is fast now. It's not like back then. You lived with music a lot more too. You also, the videos were on BT all day. Like, you know what I mean? It was a different intake of music. And now, because of digital, it's so fast. Like, you'll listen to an album, it's like, oh, all right, that's done. What's the next project dropping next week? You know what I mean? It's everything is so fast. So, like you saying, how that music was right before the digital hit, you also digested music and lived with it different at that time too.
Yeah. Now, you from Brooklyn. Your boy's getting out tomorrow, supposedly.
He is?
6ix9ine. Apparently.
First of all, I don't like the way you slid my boy in there. Let's clear that.
Not your boy.
You know the title of the video be
it's
like
not
Fab Boy.
Fab's boy 6ix9ine gets out tomorrow.
I've been, but I saw a meme or something too that he still might be facing time or something like that.
There's so many reports, and it's like credible people are reporting that he's getting out, and other credible people are reporting that he's still facing 37 years or something.
Yeah.
So, if he gets out, is he looking at a Fab feature?
Nah,
Can he get one?
Mean, for one, I don't like morally, I don't like what that represents. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even it, like, you can't wish jail on people, but like, the whole situation of how that played out and the way it was represented, I don't even know the complete inside story. The way it's presented to us is that, you seen his career or his lifestyle, and then you seen him get locked up, and then you heard about him telling on some people, and then now you hearing about him
getting out,
possibly getting out,
and signing a deal and shit. Yeah, and
even that the way that is represented and shown to people, it's gonna show something that I don't think is morally correct, and that it's successful. Like, you can do that, and that's how you're supposed to.
And it'll teach kids, like, you can clout chase.
So I wouldn't I wouldn't be able to, like, stand next to that and, like, I don't know the full
whole
story of it. You know what I'm saying? But, like, from what it's represented as so far, that's not my thing.
So, not getting a collab, not getting no feature from him. But someone you did do a project with was Kiss. And Kiss hasn't even confirmed it, but he was saying, like, anybody that can, like, go toe-to-toe with me, get $500K or something, $500 to $750K. And Montana had responded to it. Have you even hit him up, like, about that at all? Jadakiss? Oh.
About that, man?
Apparently, well, he hasn't confirmed it, but Dat Piff posted that Jadakiss said if anyone could go toe-to-toe with him, bar for bar, he'd give him $500K on the line. Enough to go viral on Twitter.
It's so many things. That's like with the stories that we live in an era now too. Like, before you even move on something, like, you don't know the credibility of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's coming from a credible source or like a CNN or some kind of like.
The day CNN talks about Jadakiss freestyle
then
battles,
I might believe it.
It is the day.
Like if CNN come up, just did. You know what I mean? But like, it's hard because social media and just how everybody's using things for clickbait, just to get attention, just to check into it. Sometimes you know how you see a headline and then you click on it and watch it, and then like the whole headline was just to set you up to watch it, but it's like
to get
nothing.
a click, yeah.
So like it's hard to like even go off of a lot of things you say, like even like we were just talking about with the 6ix9ine. I don't know what's the true story in that. I don't know. All we get is what we get on social media, and you have to like react accordingly. So that's how I say like I can't really mix with it because what I've seen, I don't that's not my thing. But like even with Kiss, like I know Kiss personally, so you know what I mean. Like I know Kiss is he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if he like said that I'm giving $500K for anybody. You know what I mean? We have a different relationship, like like we don't need $500K for us to work or whatever like that. But maybe he did say it. That's why I asked Fendi. Fendi is like,
we'll figure it out.
We know him
as he's typing right now. I doubt he said that. Now you were at the party of the year, Diddy's 50th birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see you snatching no phones though. You don't have to snatch none like Hov.
Nah.
Nobody sneaking pictures of you.
I also was that the whole moment too was also at the earlier part of the party, so people probably was still a little,
shell shocked, like who's here? Oh, yeah.
And it was a lot of people there, you know what I mean, and then there's a lot of phones out here, so you know what I mean. And I think that's another thing that sometimes gets crossed between like celebrity and just partying, and people, as a celebrity too, you want to party and have a good time, but you don't want to feel like you're being watched to be shown, or not even just watched, just recorded to be shown at a later time or to be exposed at whatever. You could be, just having ordinary fun and trying to enjoy yourself. And, that doesn't mean that you want it to be shown, socially or on video. And people should understand that a little bit. Like, I do understand people see celebrities and be like, oh, my God, Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? And whip out their phone and all of that. But at the same time, you have to sometimes pay respect. Like, you know what? Maybe you see them having a good time and you want to have they having a good time. Sometimes they will even interact with you and have a good time with you.
But you just can't be weird.
Once it gets a little weird, then that's when phones start getting snatched. And you know what I'm saying? What's funny is that somebody else was taping him snatch a phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they was trying to tape him, and then somebody else caught him
your phone snatched.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's how bad it is. Like, you know what I mean? You can't even snatch your phone because you got to snatch every phone that's around. Like,
it's all about the clicks out here. It's about the subscribers, followers. That's worth more than money to kids nowadays. Well, not even kids, everybody. Clout. Yeah. Attention.
For clout.
Do anything for clout. Because you can turn that into money. I think I saw, I think it was Bootleg Kevin Head show. Maybe it may have been Nick Cannon's show. You were talking about people, they asked you, do you think rappers now get more money? Or like because they have more ice? I forgot which person's show it was. But you mentioned like there was a different era where everybody had a fashion line and stuff like that. How come we never got a Fab?
I had a line. I had a line called Rich Young back in the days, maybe like mid 2000s, 05, 04. We was very young in it, and we were like kind of like doing a lot of ourselves. And
so you didn't have like the big
whole clue. Yeah,
campaigns.
we had a following, but it was kind of like more of a regional, local following, and we were building it. And I just think that we didn't take the steps to like bring people in that really knew how to take the clothing line to the next level. And we actually signed a deal with a distribution company, and I think that even went sour because they started wanting to do what they wanted to do other than what we wanted to do. So then it like became a conflict between us and then this distribution company, and then it just washed away. So I think now though, that dynamic has changed a little bit. It's not as like, Rockaware and Sean John kind of like lines. But I think
hey, Sean John's still out there in Macy's.
Yeah,
just FYI.
They still getting
for
coins.
People,
yeah. They still getting some coins. But I think like collabs and like capsule things now is like working for artists or you know what I mean? Different little things is working now. versus, you know, the big clothing lines of before. You know, that was in the boom of hip hop too.
Yeah.
You know, at the beginning of the end of the 90s into the early 2000s, hip hop was growing so fast that making a clothing line, people just wanted to throw it on and feel like they were Diddy or feel like they were Jay-Z, you know, because they, you know what I mean? It was an impression, and it was, you know, of course, how big their celebrity was, they were able to monetize it, you know what I mean? But I think now people, it's so much now that just a clothing line alone is not, people are wearing different things and doing things because of different reasons now, not just because you're a celebrity anymore or because you're the top rapper anymore. So I think it can still work in a certain space. Like that's why I say collaborations and capsules, and you know, even merch is big now. You know what I mean? People are connected to people's merch, and you see Kanye sells a lot of merch.
Yeah, Kanye and Travis are the epitome
Mm-hmm.
of merch selling out like that. Have you ever been approached by like, because you are like the Jersey god, by like Mitchell and Ness, Nike?
Well, I had a deal with Mitchell and Ness back in the days. But now I like where the merch thing is too, because it's a connection to you and your brand and your music. Like with Summertime Shootouts, the previous ones, they were just mixtapes, and you know, we sold a hell of a lot of merch, just, you know, because people liked the artwork or the covers, and it connected in a different way, you know what I'm saying? Just because it was like a cover, but it wasn't like when you make a cover and put yourself on it, that's one thing, but when you make a cover that has its own like identity, then people could engage with that just without looking like they fanned out, you know what I'm saying? So we did that, and I like the way merch, you know, I like the price point, I like it's cool, I think kids like it, you know what I mean? Like it's a cooler thing now than, you know, the clothing lines of the early era.
I think the last Summertime Shootout, you posted people that got like tattoos of it. Yeah.
I even seen just recently somebody added me for the tattoo of part 3. I was like, wow, we a weekend.
Dog, it came out like yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. They showed me the video. I was like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? That's dope. I mean, to me, sometimes I'd be like, man, that person crazy. They put something on their neck, or they put like, you know. But at the same time, it's a connection.
Some people asked about a soul tape album. I'm not gonna spoil it any more than Kevin Head did in LA. But since we're
people
done,
don't like anticipation anymore. They don't like you to talk about something that's not there yet anymore. Like before, you could say it and everybody was like, "Oh, yo, this is coming." Now they just like, really? When? It's tomorrow? Like,
yeah, it's like that J. Cole and Kendrick collab that never came out.
That's why you can't even speak on that kind of stuff. Like it becomes like the Dr. Dre detox situation. Like they keep. Then now, like because we have the internet, you get trolled. They'll be on your page every day. Like
then they like upload to YouTube like Fabolous soul tape album type beat, and then get all them damn views off of that. But like it just came out. But we're done with Summertime Shootout because you're in the third one.
Series, we done with it. But I'm keep working 3 though. I think we got a lot of work to do. Like you said, it just came out.
But it has mad singles.
Yeah.
So like we literally sat on the phone like, I think the Chris Brown single, dog, or the Too Late.
Oh yeah.
With Jeremiah. Yeah.
Too Late is a great song. I would like to do something with Too Late though on a bigger spectrum, because for me it was
your
more
kids
talking
in it,
about
your family,
my family, and my kids were involved, and just talking about, I think in hip hop too, we need that aspect of, you know, bringing family together and celebrating family too, because I think, you know, there's a lot of music that kind of like celebrates, you know, just you and your homies or you and your girl, or just, you know what I mean? But, you know, as artists and as we get older, you know, you see, you know, me with my family, you see T.I. and his family, you see Jay and Beyonce with their family, you see Kim and Kanye with their family. Like, you know, family needs to be celebrated too, you know what I mean? And maybe, you know, our celebration of it can spread through the masses, where everybody just appreciates family a little bit more. So
listen, I told you I've been a fan since MySpace era, so we could sit here for hours.
You still got your MySpace password?
Yo, they like cleared everything out.
Yeah,
so like I do, but like your top 8's not there anymore. Your music's not there anymore.
Top 8.
I tried to go back in.
People used to be tight if they wasn't on your top 8. Like,
yo, but friends. I was one of those MySpace hustlers that knew how to HTML code, so I charged people, and I could change it to be like top 20s, and I'm like,
no, but then they eventually like, they opened it up, like it was like top 16 and top. Then it just got crazy. Like I'm not putting 24 top. Like it doesn't make like. people like, yo, you got 24 now. You can put me up there. You know?
I hated people who had like celebrities that I know you don't know. Like Tila Tequila was in everybody's top 8. I was like, bro, like I know you don't know her. Like, so
Tequila. Wow.
You ain't heard that forever, huh? Was she from LA?
I don't know. What's
okay.
Yeah.
Asian, I think she's like Asian. She does porn now. Side note. Nah. That was my era. That's what, like, MySpace is when I was like 15, 16. So like that was like my era. That's like we could.
I remember MySpace too. It wasn't like a phone thing, so it was like a computer thing.
Yeah.
Everywhere you went with a computer, you just log it into your MySpace to see your activity real quick. Like
checking billboards and notifications. That was when we like the first like talking shit era started, because you could post billboards about people like, man, fuck so and so. This nigga's on site. Once again, we could sit here for hours, but I already know we running late. But Fabolous, Shoving Time Shootout 3. It's out right now. Choosy was a single. I'm gonna ask the Us vs. the World be the next single with Chris Brown.
I love that song.
Or I like the one with Roddy Ricch. I really like the one with Jeremiah. Too Late. I like a lot. I like the one with PNB Rock. Like, like it's mad singles.
That's the problem we be having.
Yeah.
We trying to figure out what. I gotta put a poll or something up. Like, trying to see if people could, because it's hard. Like because sometimes too you do a project, you know, you have your own feeling of what you think, but sometimes, especially in this era, you want to see what the people is feeling too.
Analytics, yes.
Right.
Looking in cities. We know you're not new to Houston. You got a couple events tonight. I know you'll be at the club. You at Ghost, I think.
Yeah, I'm at Ghost
tonight. Where's Clue at? Clue here?
Clue? No, Clue.
You going to the studios or no?
Clue's in New York.
No, Clue be here all the time. That's why I asked.
Yo,
like,
he be really popping into Houston.
Yeah.
Like, he's never brought me down with him. Like, he never be like, yo, come with me down to Houston. I just always hear he be down here.
He was here for our Beat Bash, and he DJ'd with like Meek and Feature, and he didn't tell nobody. He just showed up, like, bro.
He didn't tell me either. That's cool.
But
sounds exactly like him.
Fabolous in town tonight. Anything you got for Houston before I let you go?
Oh man, I just want to thank them for always supporting. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't get here as much as I like to, but we're gonna fix that because I always have a good time, and I love the food in Houston because I'm greedy-ish.
Where does LC take you? Where does anybody take you when you're here?
LC ain't taking me nowhere.
Once again, I will talk to Fabolous his ears off when we're off air. But until then, it's the Audi 93.7 The Beat.